All right, you're listening to the John Mendola Show, and we appreciate you joining us here. We are driven by McCarthy Tire and Automotive Centers. We're going to talk with some fitness guys, and joining us right now is Brennan Morton, the owner of NEPA Crossfit. How you doing, Brennan?
Good.
Good. Tell us a little about NEP Crossfit. What you guys do there?
Basically, CrossFit believes in general broad fitness. So we are teaching people how to do functional fitness, basically fitness that they can take out into the real world and then kind of use to improve their lives. It's not bodybuilding to just look better. It's an actual improvement of life quality.
Well, when you talk CrossFit, people want to get in better shape. How does NEPA CrossFit help with people doing that?
Well, a lot of people have a hard time when they go to the gym, not knowing what to do. They walk in, they see just a bunch of equipment, and they just kind of fool around. CrossFit basically is personal training at a fraction of the cost. So we have small class sizes, and it's like basically a personal training-led class where they walk in. It's an hour long. For an entire hour, they basically get to be led by a personal trainer the entire time. From warm-up to what the movement pattern of the day is, the workout. They get cheered on by all their friends. They get to be a little competitive, and then we all cool down at the end. So at the end of the day, it's a lot more community-based and a lot more kind of push than a lot of people would do on their own when they just put their headphones in and just kind of do their own thing. There's a lot more sense of people want to try harder because people are watching and their friends are counting for them, and there's always a coach there to make sure they're always being safe and doing things the best they probably could.
We're talking with Brennan Morton from NEPA CrossFit. And Brennan, you talk about these classes and people get involved. Is it, people do you start them on top of the hour at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock? Do you have certain times that people get together? Is it when a group of people show up?
We basically, the way we operate, every CrossFit's different. The way we operate, we offer 10 classes a day. We start at 6 a.m. We have classes at kind of strange times that are based off more people's schedules. So we have a 6 a.m., 7:15, and 8:30 just for the people who drop their kids off at school. Then we have an 11 and a 12:30, and a 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And basically, it's an hour long. People don't have to sign up for a class. If someone comes at 6 a.m. one day, they can come to a 5 p.m. class the next day. We're trying to suit their schedule. And no one has the same schedule every day. So basically, we leave it open-ended that they can show up to any class that works for them.
We're talking with Brennan Morton from NEPA CrossFit. And Brennan, you're located in Wilkes-Barre, and I know you train a lot of people. One young man in particular has been training for several years, and this young man's name is Kevin Evans. Tell us a little about Kevin.
I first met Kevin when his mom brought him in. He was a baseball player, and they wanted to get him a little stronger. And we didn't have a kids program at the time, but she really wanted us to train him. So they brought him in, and he took to it right away. Basically, he probably has the best body awareness I've ever met of anybody, where if he can see something and watch a movement pattern, he could basically do it within 5 minutes and probably do it better than the person he watched. He got the nickname Prodigy because of that, so everyone knows him at the gym as Prodigy. He's even Coach Prodigy. So basically, there's a 13-year-old kid who caught on faster than most adults and suddenly was putting up numbers and doing workouts faster than most adults were twice his age and supposedly, super fit. And so we basically took him under our wing as a less of a client and more as like a little brother slash, just kind of a mentor figure for him. And we trained him separately. He'd do the WODs with the other clients, but then we train him on the side in his Olympic lifting and all the lifting patterns and stuff like that. And then he just recently became a full-fledged coach at the gym, so he actually works at the gym as a 17-year-old. He's got more certifications than most adults do who train. And so basically we just took him on as a side project, and he suddenly became one of the fittest, basically one of the fittest teams in the entire world.
We're talking with Brennan Morton. He is the owner of NEPA CrossFit. We're talking about Kevin Evans, who's a senior at GAR. Tell us what Kevin weighs and some of the lifts and different things that he does that, people turn their head and say, wow, that's pretty incredible.
Kevin Evans weighs about 160 pounds, which is not a big kid. If you look at him, he's very unimposing. He doesn't look... he's got some big arms on him, but otherwise he looks like a normal teenager. but he's putting up numbers that make most adults like cringe because they can't come nowhere near it. His snatch right now, which is a very technical Olympic lift, is about 210, which is unreal. He beats all but one of the coaches here at that. He can rack jerk basically almost 315. He's caught in a clean. He's caught 295. His back squat is 385. He deadlifts 425. He can do 53 pull-ups in a row. He can do 303 double unders, which is a double jump rope, so 2 passes of the rope for every jump in a row. He can do he has a 58-inch box jump, which if someone would measure that on the wall, you'd understand how amazing that is for a kid who's not that tall. He's basically jumping almost his entire body height up onto an object. And what I think is the most amazing is there's a movement called the Turkish get-up, where at 160 pounds, he can lift his entire body weight, another 160 pounds, from flat on his back all the way to a full standing and all the way back down, which is just body weight Turkish get-ups. I think I've seen 4 in the world that I've ever seen live, and he can do one, which is just absolutely incredible.
Well, it sounds like incredible stuff. I mean, the pull-ups right off the bat, 53 pull-ups in a row is unbelievable. But you mentioned all those other things that maybe, some people can't appreciate some of that stuff because they may not get a visual on it, but incredible stuff, that's for sure. We're going to talk with Kevin Evans here now on the John Mendola Show. We are driven by McCarthy Tire and Automotive Centers, and Kevin is a senior at GAR, the Grand Army of the Republic, and a 17-year-old. He also trains at NEPA CrossFit. Welcome in, Kevin. We appreciate you joining us.
Hi, thanks.
Well, Kevin, as you show up with your mom, a baseball player at NEPA CrossFit, tell us what it was like early on as a 13-year-old showing up at the gym and trying to figure out what you're going to do there.
Well, starting out, I mean, it looks a little intimidating when you see all the other, adults, crushing workouts and stuff. But, I mean, I instantly liked it from the first workout. So, ever since that, I mean, I kind of been hooked on it and kind of taking it from there.
Talk about working your way up. Where did you start and where you're at now with some of these lifts? Do you even remember some of the numbers you're at when you first started training?
Yeah, some of my numbers, I think the first time I went to like a max clean was probably about like 125. And now I just, about a month ago, cleaned 295. So deadlift was about 250. I recently got 425, sorry. Put over 100 pounds on the snatch. I was right under 100 pounds when I first started, and now I'm at 210. So all the numbers have jumped considerably.
We're talking with Kevin Evans, who's a senior at GAR, who works out at NEPA CrossFit. He also works there as well. Kevin, how about those pull-ups? 53 in a row. Do you remember where you started with pull-ups?
Yeah, when I first came out, I actually wasn't able to do, or I was able to do about 1 pull-up. And just from there, just keep working on them daily. And now I got up to about 53. We use it's called a kit in CrossFit. It's pretty much the most efficient way to do a pull-up. So with the kit, I can do 53 pull-ups.
When you think about where you started and where you are now, and all in 4 years' time, and now you're training people at the gym, how much motivation do you have and how much satisfaction do you have at this point? And obviously, I'm sure you're hungry and you want a little bit more, but when you're training these other people, you have something that you could, say, hey, listen, when I first started, I did 1. Now I'm doing 53. So you have a great reference point.
Yeah. I mean, everyone has to start somewhere. So, I mean, some people start, much farther ahead of where I started, or, some people start, at a lesser scale. But just seeing everybody come in and really push themselves hard every day really motivates you. No matter what the workout is, everyone pretty much gives it 110%. So that pretty much makes you want to give it your all, too.
Kevin, talk about competitions that you enter and that you get into, and trying to go along. Talk about some recent competitions.
This past year, I did a kids competition qualifier to go. It's called the Games, or Gauntlet at the Games. I took first in the qualifier in the world, and out at the Games, I took second. So I'm the second for this team, technically, in the world.
So being number one in the world or number two in the world, does that faze you at all? Is that something that excites you?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit, but, being number two isn't as good as being number one. So, I mean, I really want to be number one, so that's my goal for next year. I still have 1 more year to compete in the teams. So that's my goal for this next year.
Talk about where you started weight-wise. Now you're at 160 pounds. Did you maintain your weight over time the last 4 years at NEPA CrossFit? Have you gained some weight, put on some muscle? Coach described you as kind of this humble kid that most people would say, wow, that kid's that good and can compete at a high level in the world?
Yeah, when I first started, I was much shorter. Of course, I'm still growing and whatnot. But I was about 140 pounds. But, I was pretty chubby and chunky. So now, I'm pretty lean, or leaner at least, than what I was at 160 pounds. So, yeah.
Kevin, where do you want to take this? You're listening to Kevin Evans we're talking to from GAR here on the John Mendola Show, and we are driven by McCarthy Tire and Automotive Centers. Where do you want to take this CrossFit stuff? I mean, you're training at the gym, you're competing at high levels. What do you want to do over the next few years?
I would like to make it to the CrossFit Games. That's pretty much like the highest, pretty much like the Olympics of CrossFit. If you can make it there, you're in pretty good shape. But that's what I want to do. And then eventually I'd like to open my own gym, my own CrossFit gym, train people out of it.
All right. Well, we wish you the best of luck, and I know you still you have your whole senior year to go, and of course a lot of great things coming up for you, working at the gym and working out. So we appreciate you joining us, and congratulations on your accomplishments, and we wish you the best of luck.
All right, thank you.
All right, that is Kevin Evans. Again, he's a senior at GAR, and Brennan Morton, the owner of NEPA CrossFit, here on the John Mendola Show, driven by McCarthy Tire and Automotive Centers.